To live with adversity is to bear hardship as to make up for it. Suffering is the source of happiness, and happiness is the conclusion of suffering. When the waves of life are at their peak, they appear happy, and when they are at a low ebb, they appear to be in pain. And the waves are always high and low. There is no eternal rise. There is no eternal pour. So life is pain and happiness, intertwined parallel. The two go hand in hand, both contradictory and related. The so-called, there is no happiness without pain, is to tell us to correctly deal with the joys and sorrows of life. Adversity is disadvantageous to personal development, but it can sharpen people's will from fragility to strength and resilience. Wang Yangming has experienced hardships, and his mind is stronger than before. He began to understand the sufferings of the masses, made a life for the people, grew up in a difficult environment, and finally built a building of psychological theory. Suffering is the source of happiness, and happiness is the conclusion of suffering. Without wind and frost, it is rare to get the fragrance of preserved plum. The happiness of success comes from hard struggle. Only when you suffer from hardships can you get results. The ancients, head-hanging beam, cone-thorn strands, bitter is bitter. But they work hard to achieve self-improvement. Itself is a kind of happiness, suffering for pleasure, endless happiness. Life is a process. Sailing on the ship of life, we may experience rough waves, but also feel calm. Joy and happiness fill the voyage. Suffering and frustration are also part of the course. Only after drinking all the feelings of the voyage, life will be complete. However, in the process of drinking the full cup of life, sorrow can never be avoided, and more suffering, unless pleasure is the necessity of life. A group of disciples are going on a pilgrimage. Master took out a balsam pear and said to his disciples, "Take this balsam pear with you, and remember to soak it in every holy river you pass, and bring it into the temple where you worship. Offer it on the sacred table, and worship it." The disciple made a pilgrimage through many holy rivers and temples and followed Master's teachings. When they came back, they gave the balsam pear to Master, who asked them to cook the balsam pear for dinner. During dinner, Master took a bite, then said earnestly, "It's strange. After soaking in so much holy water, and entering so many temples, the balsam pear has not become sweet." Upon hearing this, several disciples immediately became enlightened. The essence of balsam pear is bitter, and will not be changed by the temple of holy water. Life is bitter. Spiritual practice is bitter, and the essence of life is bitter, which cannot be changed even by saints, let alone ordinary people. Anyone who has seen the former home of the famous oil painter Van Gogh knows that there is only a cracked wooden bed and broken leather shoes. Van Gogh was down and out all his life, and did not take a wife, but perhaps it was the embarrassment of life that helped him complete his artistic attainments, made him a master of masters, and made his works a classic of classics. Treat our life should be like this, always ready to suffer. Not to expect balsam pear to become sweet, but to really understand the taste of bitterness. This is a wise attitude. Balsam pear is balsam pear, even the root is bitter. This is the reality and truth of a balsam pear. Sweetness is only our illusory expectation. And only when we really face the truth of things, can we be liberated from it. Everything is to face it and solve it. A complete life is not a life without suffering or lovelorn, but a feeling that has experienced experienced, faced and surpassed the bitterness. Pain and joy are the feast of life, the peaks and troughs of life, ups and downs, so it will be magnificent. When we accept suffering and regard it as an inevitable course of life, suffering is no longer secular suffering. Similarly, accept music and regard it as the course of life. And music is no longer just secular music. To enjoy the feast of life, enjoy all the best parts and troughs, and live in the joys and sorrows of life, so that the joys of life are in our hands. Only if you can bear to wait, can you enjoy the pain. In the face of unscrupulous monarchs and treacherous villains, many sages either choose to face each other directly, or choose to compromise. However, Wang Yangming chose to wait. He did not succumb to treacherous courtiers. Nor did he die quickly for liberation. He chose persistence and patience. Wang Yangming was bent on serving his country, but he endured great humiliation. However, it was precisely this waiting and persistence that Wang Yangming clung to his conscience, clung to a belief in peace of mind, and finally realized in solitude, the way of saints is self-sufficient, and we are wrong from those who seek reason from things. If you want to succeed in your career, you must be able to endure setbacks and loneliness, and concentrate on calmness, so that you can go deep into the inaccessible situation, and absorb the sweetness of wisdom. If you are too impetuous and eager for quick success and quick profit, it may be counterproductive and fruitless. The inner peace of Zhuangzi is the first to be carefree and carefree, said. There is a fish in the north, which is called the fish. He is so big that he does not know that he is thousands of miles away. He is transformed into a bird, and his name is Peng. I do not know that the back of Peng is thousands of miles. If it flies angrily, its wings are like clouds hanging from the sky. In the spring and autumn period, King Chezhuang, a famous virtuous king of the state of Chu, ascended the throne as a teenager in order to stabilize the situation. He superficially ignored the imperial government for 3 years, but in fact he was secretly biding his time, and others asked him, if you don't fly for 3 years, you will fly into the sky. If you don't sing for 3 years, it will be amazing. Sure enough, the king of Chezhuang made great efforts to govern. During his 22 years in office, he knew people well, rectified the imperial program, built water conservancy, attached importance to agricultural business, and the national strength of Chu became stronger and stronger. He successively destroyed Yun, defeated Song, attacked Chen, besieged Zheng, and Chen won the Zhou dynasty. In the suburbs of Zhou it became one of the 5 hegemons of the spring and autumn period in history. The king of Chezhuang is a typical example of rising abruptly based on accumulated strength. He is not afraid of the doubt and contempt caused by mediocrity during the dormant period, but calmly chooses the posture of waiting. In fact, most of life is dormant, saving and waiting. This indifferent, calm posture is not inaction, but a state of weakness, the most difficult to arouse vigilance and hostility for themselves to win a good atmosphere, so that people can get what they want in the calm, joyful indifference. Nothing in the world is difficult for those who set their minds to it. He who cannot survive the wait will not be happy. Those who are unwilling to enrich themselves and wait for opportunities in loneliness will mostly become small speculators. There is an epitaph written on the tombstone of a famous speculator. He once lived, speculated and failed. Life is like business. Speculative gains will be lost by speculation. Therefore, it is better to be friends with waiting. Only after a long wait will there be the sound of refined steel coming out of the scabbard.